Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Yes, this is a different voice in the host chair. This is Brian Weigel joining y'all for this great episode. Subes is out dealing with a chipmunk issue. So best of luck, Subes. Be humane. Don't kill the guy. Glad to have y'all aboard tonight for Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I'm joined by a great cast and crew today. Let's go with the triplet, Clay Winstead. How you doing, Clay?
You know, I'm just happy to be thinking about anything other than the Bengals and free agency tonight. I'm happy to be on the show, happy to be talking about a club that has a ray of hope left, FC Cincinnati.
Well, not too bright of rays left, but I'm sure we'll touch on that this evening. Also joined by Ken Hetker, stats guru extraordinaire. How are we tonight, Ken?
I'm doing good. This is the first time I heard Subes is out with a chipmunk issue. Is Alvin invading his house or what? Come on. I mean, yeah. It's good to be back. It's been like a month. So as Clay says, we got at least a club with some hope going into the year. So we'll see where we're going.
You know, if I was thinking ahead, I would have had some Alvin and Chipmunks Christmas music. Christmas. I can get kind of in that. Was that falsetto, or whatever they call that? I don't know.
The falsetto, yeah.
Also joined by the man, myth, the legend, Bill Wolf. How we doing,
Thanks,
Bill?
Thanks, guys. I'm doing great. Hey, those chipmunks are no laughing matter, man. I have dealt with my own chipmunk issues. Chewed right through my internet connection. When they start messing with the internet, that's bad news, man.
Really?
So I wouldn't kill them though. With my wife being a veterinarian, that would not go over well. But catch and release, and stay away from my internet.
You would just displace them.
He was on the outside of the house to start. He was chewing the wire going in. So,
well,
I guess Subes, it's in the house, right? It's like in a wall or something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
if Subes isn't with us next week, he probably has rabies. I guess is that what carries
Probably,
that?
yeah.
I mean, they might.
I just hope if he got bit, it would affect his voice like Alvin. Okay, well, guys, glad to have you again. Just kind of a brief rundown of tonight's show. We're going to talk about Luciano Acosta whenever that's going to happen. We actually do have a little bit of an update for you there. We're going to welcome the newest sponsor of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We're going to dive deep into the rumor well about a report about Allan Cruz being shopped on the market. Then we'll talk about whatever happened in the Mercy Health Training Center this weekend versus Louisville, followed by schedule breakdown and a special recollection of an experience in the new West End Stadium from our very own Bill Wolf. So we're excited to discuss that. Also, thank you, Bjorn. It is called a falsetto, not whatever I called it. So thank you very much for correcting that. All right, guys. We heard a whirlwind of rumors and news last week regarding our hopefully new number 10, Luciano Acosta. Of course, our buddies over at the Post, Kevin Wallace and his crew, broke that signing was very close, if not should have happened by the end of the week for Luciano Acosta. Of course, Atlas came out, the club that Luciano Acosta is at currently, saying that the transfer has been processed. Hasn't been made official yet by FC Cincinnati, but sources close to the club, I always make a joke about this. We're confirming whoever report and whatever. Cincinnati Soccer Talk has heard that the signing should be happening in the next day or so, hopefully very soon. So stay tuned to Cincinnati Soccer Talk at Cincy Soccer Talk on Twitter for any updates there. So guys, I guess I'll start with you, Ken. Let's talk the money for this. It was reported by Stephen Goff, $550,000 in GAM going to DC for his rights. Another $3 million going to Atlas from Christian Dyer of MLS Multiplex. So what do you make of the financials of this deal?
What do I make of the He's going to be a DP. I think we all know that just based on a $3 million transfer fee. So I don't see him ever coming down off of a DP status until the guaranteed part of his contract is played out. How many years that is, we don't know. As far as the 550, I put my point out there. I had 400,000 as my limit. I'm not going to. It's spilt milk at this point in time. $550,000 in GAM. It was more of a point of DC didn't control his destination, and hey, it's a a mechanism within MLS that's just different. And I think, both sides had their cards that they could play, and hey, we needed a 10. And in the end, I think that's what played out is we needed a 10. They knew it, and they weren't probably going to budge much lower than what they already did.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a background on Ken's point there about the DPs and maybe going up to TAM, whatever, down to TAM. There is a rule that says a player's salary budget charge and therefore designated player status is generally determined by averaging all guaranteed amounts payable over the guaranteed term, or if the guaranteed term is less than 3 years, then averaging all amounts payable over 3 years. So unless he's taken a huge pay cut, it definitely seems that he will be a DP for the foreseeable future. So, Clay Winstead, are you happy that we have a DP number 10 for the foreseeable future in Luciano Acosta?
Yeah. I know there's been hemming and hawing in the fan community whether this is a good signing, whether they could have done better. I think the reason this signing is happening now is probably they couldn't, or they didn't see a better option forward at right now. And I think waiting till summer just wasn't viable for this team. This team needs creativity. It needs help on the offense. We can get into the weeds about whether or not he'll be as good as he has shown or not. I think that is a debate to be had, but you needed him. You needed a guy like him to come into this team and help out. If you wait to the summer, it's potentially a dire place on the table if you're running out the same midfield three we had last season. I'm happy they have it. That was kind of a bare minimum. I think a lot of us expected this team to add, that we knew get someone like this into the squad, and hopefully, it's going to benefit everyone around him. And I think that's definitely possible. I hope it works out for the team's sake. But yeah, no, it needed to be done. So I'm happy.
We got a listener comment from ZM. He has to be an upgrade over De Jong, right, Bill Wolf?
I'm an upgrade over De Jong. I'm an upgrade over De Jong. I was a fullback. Okay.
I'm going to clay clock you already, pal.
Yeah, I actually, for a second there, he said yes, and he just paused so long. I thought it was going to be like the shortest response from Clay in the history of CST. So, yeah, and it didn't happen. Yeah, for sure, an upgrade over De Jong, and echoing what Clay actually just said, and actually what Ken just said a little bit as well, which is this position needed to be filled. And we saw what happened when you had a bad 10, which basically meant we didn't have a 10. It didn't matter how much money we put in the front of the team, the front four, whatever you want to call it. We just couldn't connect, right? Nothing happened. So you got to have somebody. Acosta may not be everybody's favorite. He certainly has some MLS experience. He has certainly had good moments. Maybe he can have some more, maybe he won't, but he's for sure an upgrade from what we've had, for sure an upgrade from nothing, a piece we needed to have. We looked at a lot of different options. Obviously there was rumors of Petey. There was rumors of Papu. I mean, all these people were great choices, but we couldn't get them, right? So, at some point you have to pull the trigger on somebody. This guy seems, like he's at least fits the profile better than many. And I've already seen some talk about Amaya going on in the chats. And he got his run out as well, right? He got some chances near the end when De Jong wasn't going to get done. Kubo got chances. This team is not capable of creating, linking up play between the midfield and the front three attacking players. We needed somebody. So whether Acosta is it or not, he is at least, filling that spot. And we will hope for our sake that the end of the season that he does a good job.
I wanted to just come back around on this and say, I had a couple people ask me about Sam de Jong and how he compared to Acosta, or not Acosta. And Acosta's, I have now this site out there, people. It's the data analytics drop down inside of CST. So if you go to the CST website and click on a little link, you can kind of do this yourself. At least I have the 2020 data out there, but I have older data. The point being is Luciano Acosta like filled this big circle, which was really generally good. It's called a radar chart. Sim de Jong like looked like this like little spider web. He looked like what's that thing where you get tested for your psychology thing?
Rorschach.
Yeah, Rorschach test, and that's how bad he was. But also to add on to that is Brad said this best a couple weeks ago. Do I think Luciano Acosta is the solution? I think that's debatable, and I think we all say that. What I think Luciano Acosta is, though, is he's not the issue. He will allow us to find all of our other problems. He is not going to be the problem. You rule out the middle of the pitch when you at least get his quality in there, and I am good with that. I think he can progress higher than what he is, but I think we're not going to be somewhere lower than we were at least. So I think that's what he adds is he puts us to a level where he's not the problem. The center of the field, the 10 is not the problem.
Yeah, and to circle onto the money of it all, because I think that's another thing that we've been talking about a lot, or a lot of people have. Is he worth the money that they're spending? So I think if you look at the proposed Pitti deal that ended up falling through, I mean the transfer fee on that was going to be it's reportedly 3 for Acosta. It was closer to 10 for PT, and they would have had to trade probably some allocation money to go up into the allocation order to be able to even sign him in the first place. So I think that we probably actually we definitely saved money on the transfer. You're probably in the same window of money for what the potential GAM output would have been for an allocation spot up by LAFC or Austin. So for me, I don't consider that much of an issue, because I think they were going to have to spend this kind of money to get a player like Acosta or like Pitti Martinez. So, Pitti didn't work out. You save some money on the transfer fee. The GAM at this point, like you said, Ken, I think is spilled milk. It might be a little desperate to spend that much GAM to get a guy in, but like we've been saying ad nauseum, they had to do it.
From Neil Bachman, watching here tonight, Acosta is worth what we value him, not what transfer market or any source says. Fought Mob, he had $5 million. So if it's a Wayne Rooney partnership, I guess you can kind of compare that to Brenner. Of course, he is worth a DP. There's another question down here from Scott Wilson. How much of an impact does confirming Brenner on bringing Acosta in, trying to convince him of the team we're building? I think having, linchpins like this now, both of these guys, when I say long-term, I mean 2 years plus, not 5 years, because that's tough. But having these two players should, I would think, at least convince, a winger or center backs that might have been on the fence about our overall mission. I think that would help in the recruitment process.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you look at FC Cincinnati, right, we've got a $40 million training facility. We've got a $250 million stadium that's near completion. We got a good front office. We've got a huge fan base with lots of videos we can show people. There's nothing on that side of things that in any way hinders us. You get into the situation where we just simply aren't a good team, right? We just lose. And no good player wants to be on a losing team. It's not good for them. It's not good for their trajectory upwards, right? I mean, it's hard to convince somebody you're a great player when the team you're on is in last place in the league. So, we need to go up. We need to start bringing in some of these key pieces. As far as money goes, I think you get into a situation sometimes where we're going to have to spend our way out of this a little bit, right? Everybody knows we're desperate. We got players that are probably going, yeah, it sounds good, but it's like, well, you pay a little bit more and you get that player in. And once we start to have that team and we can show that quality on the pitch as well as off the pitch, then I think it starts to become easier. But how do you convince that first player like Brenner to come? I don't know. I mean, good job, NICAMP. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah, I would recommend anyone listen to Talking Tactics with Coach Brad Goff, his scouting breakdown of Brenner, because I think you can see, at least on paper, how a striker like Brenner can match up with someone like Acosta and how that might be effective. So please, I'm shameless plug here, but take a look at that podcast. It's really great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bill that, having these, and you, Brian, having these linchpins in place. One thing I want to actually state is something that people haven't thought about, but Laura Fowler, I think, stated Brenner's here signed a 5-year contract.
I heard that as well.
And don't take my word for it. Laura does a great job. I haven't heard that, but if that's a 5-year contract over $13 million, and he pans out even. I hope he doesn't pan out this year. I mean, I hope he pans out, but I hope he doesn't move on after this year. If we get 2 years out of him and sell him for money, I mean, that is a damn good deal, a damn good investment. Again, Luciano Acosta comes in. That's it. That frees up some spots. I just hope it helps something in our behind Luciano. That's where my concern is, where everybody's been concerned going forward. I think I'm still concerned on the back line, and maybe those two guys do give some hope to bring in I'm going to say a center back.
This question in the chat's actually got a lot of responses to it. And either one of you three can take this. How do you think adding Acosta and Brenner will help Locadia or affect Locadia? Sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, it only helps, right? There's a lot of people that obviously do not like Locadia. There was money spent on him and there was no production out of him. So at its core, he didn't do his job last year. But, I think for me, just the eye test says that he had quality. Ken, you can back me up on this because I know you said it, but on every statistic out there, I'm going to quote you, he is exceptional, but scoring goals. So of course, as a goal scorer, that's important. But, the point is that quality is there. And, you saw him dropping deep a lot during last season. You saw him trying to find, a way to link up and make things happen up top. I think having more players like that, that have that quality, that cause defenders problems, and that can hopefully link up in some sophisticated ways, only improves things for him. I actually would love to see him have a year where he's scoring a bunch of goals compared to, maybe not, 10 or anything, but 7, 8 goals would be awesome for him.
Yeah. I mean, he again, following up with the stats. I'm the stats guy. I love it. Again, literally his radar chart was perfect other than the goal area, which I know everybody's going to go, well, that's what he's supposed to do. I can pick out 3 goals last year that legitimately should have gone in. And it was just either a goalie made a great play or sheer bad luck in some regard. I'm not saying he was perfect, and nor am I sitting there saying he's worth $8 million or $10 million, which could be, but I am saying he has quality. And for people to sit there and say, just ship him off, I'm not quite there yet. I think having Brenner there to maybe alleviate some pressure from the defense. He can't be the only point of focus now. They have to focus on Brenner. I mean, that guy is going to push these guys, the defense, the opponents back with his quickness. He's quick. He's not, I wouldn't call him fast, but he's quick. And having Acosta to unleash them a little bit. I think that's a quality we do not have. Again, I've been looking at more stats just by playing around with what I've been doing. And we have like one of the lowest, like, final third number of passes in a game. And I mean, that's not shocking to anybody, but it's like ridiculously low. Like, everybody else is in the 40s to 50 final third passes. We're like 25, 23. So having Acosta there will help out with Locadia.
The one thing I know a lot of us fans remember is that point blank miss on that beautiful ball crossed in from Sem de Jong.
Yep.
But then how many times last year did we see Locadia running at goal with like 3 defenders and no help? I think having Acosta there is smart enough to make the additional moves. Brenner's going to be up there. I would think he's set up for a lot more success. And we haven't even talked about, João, Barreal, and Kubo, what they can add in their, second, third years at FC Cincinnati. So I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic. Do I think we're world beaters yet? No, but I think what Bjorn had in here, you only can go up, right? Or you hope.
You know what it does mean? It means that the team is open to not bringing him back. Because without Brenner, it's Vasquez maybe. This time, you have a contingency.
Mm-hmm. There's that additional quality, and we'll find out here in the next 3 to 4 months. So if you guys have any thoughts, give us your shout at Cincy Soccer Talk on Twitter. Please, we try to engage with you as much as we can during the show. Put your comments out there, and then if you have any emails, feedback at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. So if you guys have any thoughts more about this, let us know. We'll be talking a little bit more about some player movements and how like maybe Frankie Amaya and Cruz and all those guys can feature in this here in a minute. So it is that time of the show where we'd like to give a big shout out to our tremendous supporters. Starting off with Tim Bronsel. We got Tom Rose, Matt Adamchick, Mike Hudson, Brian Malone, Jamie Smed, Jonas Tom, Jack Emery, Mike Bowman, Kathleen Francis, Matt Emholt, Matthew Long, Joe Coling, Tara Mullins, Riley Stephen Burke, and Melissa Bingle. Melissa, I hope you're doing well. Thank you all so much for your support. And to learn more on how you can support CST, head on over to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. All right, guys, we do have a new partner at Cincinnati Soccer Talk right over Clay. We have to adjust that a little bit. This portion of CST is presented by Rhinehouse. Rhinehouse is OTR's only sports bar and the city's best soccer bar, no doubt. They have 15 TVs ready to show you pretty much any match you're looking for. Rhinehouse opens 15 minutes before Premier League matches on weekends, so grab your coffee and donuts and see if you can get there before sunrise. As an official FC Cincinnati pub partner, Rhinehouse is going to be the place to be before and after home matches. They're just a short 15 minutes march to West End Stadium. Rhinehouse has some big things in the works for FC Cincinnati home match days, so stay tuned. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rhinehouse, RHINEHAUSOTR. Go check them out. Great sports bar, great partner. How many memories have we had down there at Rhinehouse, Billiam? I mean, we saw Taylor Twellman there. We had the Hell is Real FIFA party there. I mean, it's a great place to be. Yeah.
He muted himself.
He's on mute. Amateur. Love it.
Sorry. Yep. I was going to say, yeah, absolutely. Great bar. Loved it. We've had a lot of great memories there, but I'm actually more excited by the fact that I think Clay could actually step in for Vanna White. I mean, he was definitely had the pose going on there. So
I can figure out the reverse.
See, there we go.
The camera.
Jeff Tibbetts, Clay, you make a better Pat Sajak than you do a Vanna White. We always forget that this is an audio show as well. So we have a brand new image of Rhinehouse on our screens on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter this evening. And Clay was doing his best Vanna impression. Sorry, you don't stack up there, pal. But doing as best we could. So glad to have Rhinehouse aboard and love that place. Great memories. I think when
and
they
true
write
soccer fans, right? I mean, that's the thing about a bar, right? Is when you go into a bar, whether it's a soccer bar or just a bar that has soccer players in it or soccer fans in it. And Rhinehouse is a soccer bar. Those people know, love, and breathe soccer like we do.
When they write the book on FC Cincinnati, there should at least, if not a chapter, at least a good several pages on Rhinehouse and John Harkes and all those guys there. So glad to be part of that. All right, guys. So on to our next segment here. The guys again blazing fire hotness over at the Post this week. Put a comment out there on Twitter that FC Cincinnati is indeed shopping Allan Cruz. I had made a mention of the possibility of that on another podcast this past week. I mean, it seems like it makes sense in some ways, not others. We're going to split this argument here in several different ways, but I want Ken, you're the stats guru, the finance guru. Explain to us how, say we ship Allan somewhere else, how this could help in the reconstruction of FC Cincinnati.
Well, I think the biggest way it obviously helps us is it frees up a spot. I mean, that is by far, honestly, the biggest thing that it helps in. Now, we send them off, and let's just say we don't get anything, and we just send them off and they take the salary on. We free up another $700,000 in salary. So now I'm looking at what Brad and I have come up with, and there's about 1.4 million out there that we could spend. That's now 2.1 million, and we have 2 open slots. So that's 2 TAM kind of size players that we can get. And what we backfill those spots with is a mystery at this point in time, and that is maybe the question mark of all question marks: is how do we backfill any spots that do open up? We have 1 open right now. Cruz would open up another one. Again, those would not be international spots. We don't have any international. We need 2 domestic spots at that point in time. So we could get 2 big dollar players technically, and not have any money left for summer. But I'm just saying that's the threshold. So
Yeah, TAM, center back, right back, winger. You never know how it all shapes out. So I think you've all seen this. Taking the L's on Twitter this weekend. Clay Winstead. I'm joking.
I mean, it was the first time I've been ratioed. So to be fair, that was an L.
Well, I think he came up with some great points. Do we move him? What would you do?
I'm of the opinion that you do not let your best players leave the club. I know 2020 has been weird. I think of things that happened last summer. I thought they happened in 2018. I know our memories are all joggled. We don't really remember what happened when. He was our best player in 2019. He is our leading goal scorer in Major League Soccer. We gave him a DP contract for a reason. He started the season in New York Red Bulls with the exact same kind of energy and late runs into the box that scored a goal and gave us a chance to win that game. Right? You come out of the pandemic, he gets hurt. When he comes back, maybe pushing through injury, Jaap Stam pulls an Allan Cruz level scheme and plays him as a second striker instead of where he's meant to play in midfield. And suddenly everyone thinks he's terrible, that he's a worthless, that the contract isn't worth what he could bring to this club. I know that his 2020 was awful, but the fact that we so easily have forgotten how good he was in 2019, and he's 24. I'm older than Allan Cruz, and I really hope that my best years are not behind me, right? Allan Cruz is a domestic. He has his green card. He is 24 years old. No one else in the midfield can provide what he can provide. I understand there are other places in this team that need help, but getting rid of your best players to maybe hope you strike on a couple, I just don't think we should be in the business of getting rid of our best players.
Is he? I mean, I don't think he's the best player anymore. He's more of he can still be an asset
now, but I think he's one of our best. I'd say top 5, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, so you pay a lot of money for a stock. Stock was really good year 1, dips, and you still think it can come back up. Depressed asset.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Bill?
I'm going to be a little more pragmatic, I think, in the sense that, I agree. Cruz had a great 2019. It made sense that we gave him a contract and, kept him for a period. Last year, for whatever reason, he was not the player that he was in 2019. He seemed to be out of shape. He seemed to be just not getting things done. I'm not going to read into, whether he got played into the wrong position or whether he was injured or whatever. I don't know some of those details, but he didn't have a great year last year. I don't think that you get rid of a player necessarily because he had a bad year, right? He had a good 2019 and a bad 2020. So, you give him another shot, but if he showed up for training this year and it was immediately obvious that he was not in shape to our coach, I think it's fair that Jaap Stam could have just said, you know what, we're not doing this again, and decide that he's moving him on. Obviously we kept him for, at least to see, what he looked like coming into the season. But, I know what they saw. Obviously we didn't get to see any of his game footage against Louisville, assuming he played, which is, the rumor at least.
There were some photos out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. True. There was. FC Cincinnati did put out photos.
It did happen. The game actually somehow happened.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I think you move him on if he's not ready.
Okay.
And
Well, okay, regardless of that point, though, you have Kyle Scott, Harris Medunjanin, Caleb Stanko, Frankie Amaya, Allan Cruz, Mocacho. Who else am I forgetting here?
I think that's it.
So you have a lot of those guys that can fill those similar roles.
Yeah, we're overloaded.
We're overloaded. There's going to be a lot of money.
I need to push back on this. We are not overloaded at midfield. You have three starting. We have three starting midfield spots. You have 6 and a trialist. Hopefully, Kyle Scott is good, but he's also an international, and he's going to be a senior roster spot.
Forgetting somebody.
Who else? Scott is not an international.
So we're talking about 4 spots or 2 spots, really, right? Because the 10 is kind of locked in, right? Let's assume Acosta takes the 10,
right?
And then we
and
have
Mococho,
another.
I think, is a lock too. I would say Mococho as the 6 is pretty much a lock.
I mean, it seems like it, but regardless, you have 2 spots. You have the 6 and the 8, and then you've got like 6 people to play those 2 positions. So we are overloaded.
So you either have to trade somebody or buy somebody out to get flexibility, right, Ken?
Yeah. So let me just say this: we re-signed Stanko. If we were wanting to keep Cruz, why do you keep Stanko?
Because they're 2 different players.
Clay, let me finish. Quit it. My whole point is we have, like everybody else has said, players that are very similar. You have to, at some point in time, thin your field at where you can. If we could have gotten $1 million for Frankie Amaya, sure, that sounds great. However, he's on a supplemental spot. That spot is worth way more to us right now than. And I am a Cruz fan. Everybody here knows it. I love the guy. I absolutely do. But he can't stay on this roster if he's not on the pitch starting. He can't. And if Frankie Amaya is going to be the starter, which is what the team needs to do, they need to do it to build up his value, to give him the experience, to be able to trade him, to move him on. It is the way this game is played. It is. And therefore, Cruz has to be moved. I'm not saying I like it. I am just saying we need to open up another senior spot and get and open up the money. It's that simple.
All right, Clay, go ahead, pal.
So, no 1 goal and no assist. Allan Cruz. No assist. Frankie Amaya. Excuse me. Is a better player than Allan Cruz.
More value.
Okay, raw value. Well, we don't. Okay, you can talk long term all you want. This team needs to win games now. And Frankie doesn't want to be here. And Allan Cruz should be starting no matter what. He should be starting above Frankie Amaya. He should be. I think we're asking a guy who doesn't provide anything going forward. And you have someone like Allan Cruz who can score and who can help on the offense. The thing that was really problematic last season was our offense. Ken, you are the stats guy. You know this. I shouldn't have to explain that to you. Allan Cruz provides something that Frankie Amaya simply does not. No one else on this team in that 8 spot that we're talking about, Medunjanin, Stanko, Amaya, maybe Scott. Coach Goff seems to think maybe Scott. We haven't seen it yet. We've seen Allan Cruz do it. I agree, Bill. If he shows up to training camp and he's out of shape and he's not willing to put the work in, absolutely. But that's a if. I think we have to give him the chance. And I think he's earned from 2019. You don't just toss a guy out to the wind because he had 1 bad season. No one replaced his production last season. No one.
I just want to follow back up. I understand everything you're saying. However, this team has been built in a way in which you cannot have these people sitting on the bench. You can't afford to have Frankie sitting on a bench. You can't. No, you can't.
He's a supplemental spot. He's barely making any money.
You don't want to grow the profits of the team then. You have to look at all aspects of the team. It's not just about the quality on the pitch. It's about what you can get the most quality out of your pitch. Having Frankie Amaya on the supplemental spot and having Cruz gone and bringing in a better player is better than keeping Cruz, and now you get a supplemental spot. You're not going to get the same value in return. You're not.
Depth is a good thing. Having Cruz and Frankie, who do different things well, is a good thing for this team. It is.
So I love this guy. He's one of my favorite followers of the podcast on Twitter. Great guy, Jeremy Schrand. MLS roster rules say you have to keep Frankie. And
I'm not saying get rid of Frankie.
I 100% keep him and then ship off Cruz in this scenario. I guess the only other point, I guess, Clay, is instead of moving Cruz, you'd rather buy out Harris or trade Kubo.
I haven't looked too much into I'll just be honest, I haven't looked into the financials of what the other move would be. I just think you should keep your best players, and Allan Cruz is among those people at his best, which we've seen before, not in the so far distant past. He can do that. He does what Frankie Amaya cannot do. And I think keeping both of them makes your team better. You can rotate, which is the thing we didn't have last season. Remember when we shipped off Alashe? We had no one to play in midfield for 3 weeks. That's not what I want. I don't want to see 3 goalkeepers on the bench. I don't want to see it.
I think, guys, this comes into the same mistakes that we've been making at FC Cincinnati since the beginning of Major League Soccer. It's about the holistic approach to building this roster, where we've spent too much money on players that really don't. I mean, man, Harris might be the starter. Do a lot of us think he should be? I think that's debatable. But, I think that move, Stanko, can be questioned. That move and Stanko can be questioned in terms of dollars and cents in the roster build. We knew it wasn't going to be a perfect roster build this year, but this is just another scenarios where I would assume Gerard's weighing, okay, I have Harris Madunin who's played 30 games or whatever it is every year for the past 4 years, and that's something to be had in terms of, and to your point, Clay, there. And then Stanko, he's domestic. So, well, I guess Cruz is
so is Cruz. He has his green card.
Those are questions.
Younger than
price, right?
Yeah. Yes,
but he's younger than
200,
Stanko
300, and 800 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think there's those questions that we all need to ask, when we're reviewing this season and how things are moving along. I like this. This is a quote from Brad. FCC needs discipline in the front office in terms, I assume he's talking about in terms of these decisions. Bribe with the much more politically astute version of my rant, Leslie. Yeah. Filter on my rant, filter on your rant is what we'll call it. So I think you made some great points, both Ken and Clay, on each side of this argument here. It's just, we're not in a, how do I say this? We're in a salary cap league. That's it. We're not in a dream scenario like EPL where you can have the luxury of these moves. And so you have to make a decision here there where, okay, do we cut Stanko, Harris, or ship out Cruz? So any other final thoughts on this topic?
You're selling a really good asset at his least value.
Yes.
That's not good business.
100% agree with you. All right, guys. We do have another readout here. I don't know if Ken's going to like this or not. Make sure to visit CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/shop. Get your Demand Better shirt featuring the beautiful man that is Ken Hecker. Use promo code Ken Demands. That's KenDemands. Ken Demands to get free shipping on your order this week. Hurry. Promo ends on Saturday. Promo code Ken Demands.
So we've just lost a bunch of sales.
I want the Bailey filled with Ken Hetker mugs. That's what I need in my life.
Oh my God.
All right. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter watching the show, that I put up a bunch of the images here of the shirt. My favorite shirt, and I ordered this already. It's an orange or blue or whatever shirt, and it says like in Cincy. It's like they aren't hat tricks. They're 3-ways. That was clever. Now, you can take that several different ways, but hey, we're here to have fun. So go check out our shirts on CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Love it. Jeff Tebbett says Ken demands a 25% cut of all those sales. What do you think, Ken?
That'll be $250 that I get probably.
Did we buy his likeness? Do we own it?
We can try to finance Ken's stats package that he's.
I think it's in the contract. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, all right. We got about 20 minutes left in tonight's show. Somebody fell through the ceiling upstairs. Preseason defeat this weekend, guys. First, performance of preseason a week in. Faced Louisville 3-0 defeat to the whatever we call those guys in the Dirty River Derby. Disappointing. What do you make of the 3-0 loss a week into preseason, Bill?
Well, first, I will say I'm not worried about it from what I've seen. We weren't really playing any big players. We had some academy kids out there. We did a lot of our super draft players, yada, yada, yada. I can give you a million different reasons why we didn't do well. But the reality is we lost 3-0 to Louisville. So I get that it's preseason. I get that they don't want us to see the games and there's reasons that they, want to tinker and whatever else. But Louisville could be, just literally any other USL team, right? I know they're close, so it made it easy, but yeah, it just hurts, right? This is just whether we want to say we're beyond USL now and we're into MLS and it's not a rivalry anymore. It's a rivalry. And they rubbed our nose in it and they loved every second of it. And it just pissed me off.
You'd hope that at least our talent would shine through a little bit more than it did, even though it's only been a week.
Yeah. It's a little concerning. I think I got a little bit different. I'm sort of with Bill, but not quite with Bill. It's 3-0. If it was 3-2, 2-1, whatever, something within that, we gave up goals. We didn't score goals. It's the model. It's the model. Yeah, it feels familiar. And again, it also just I wasn't there. None of us were there, and we don't know exactly how it was played out. But I do have a concern of center back, and that just from a visual, even though I've heard it's a handball, penalty kick, and a bad back pass was two of the goals. From a visual standpoint, you just sit there and go, if we had a real center back in there, it would solve everything. If you know what I mean. I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just saying visually, mentally looking at it, going, what the hell happened? And that's just the way I feel.
Clay, you care at all?
If a preseason friendly happens and no one sees it, does it count?
Yes, if it's versus
I'm sure it. No,
we all saw it on. We all saw it on Twitter. Right?
If a preseason friendly happens and nobody reports on it,
those backwater heathens in Louisville were more than happy to brag about it, and as they should. It is a rivalry. You're right, but I hope usually if something I make a point I make on the show resonates with Coach Brad Goff, I think I've made something well said, and so I hope he agrees with me on this. Preseason's meant to be like this. Would I rather them get some of the mistakes out of the way and learn and apply some lessons from this than, go walk into it against Nashville and lose 3-0 to them? I'd rather lose 3-0 to a game that does not matter. It honestly, I know it matters in the rivalry, but it doesn't matter. It's a friendly. It's a preseason friendly that no one saw.
Yeah, well,
Stom and the players learned their
I agree.
Right. If Stom and the players learned lessons that they can apply to training into the season, it was worth it.
Our buddy Jeff Tebbets here says, if you didn't want to avoid the fire from a preseason loss, you shouldn't have invited the arsonists into your house. You asked for this. Totally agree there, Jeff. I love that. So I'm going to wrap this up here, tie a bow on this. Nothing that's great to take away. We didn't see Brenner, Lacadia, a couple of the heavy hitters. So it is what it is. But for the love of Pete, FC Cincinnati FO or anybody associated with the club, if you're listening to this, we're playing Pittsburgh in April before the season starts. Throw us a bone or something. Please let us watch that game.
Just live tweet it at the minimum.
please just throw us a bone. We love you. Hell, I'll pay $5 to watch the game, even though it's Pittsburgh. So, all right, it is what it is. So we did get some good news this week, guys. We found out when the stadiums open. We found out who our first 2 weeks of the season are. We're opening up the season at those Rascals down in Nashville, SC, Saturday, April 17th, 8:30 p.m. ESPN Plus. Follow that up with Saturday, April 24th, 1 p.m. versus New York City FC in Yankee Stadium. That's the homecoming for Ronald Matarrita. And then a couple weeks later, the home opener, commemorative promo, COVID masks for everyone, FC Cincinnati, May 16th, 4 p.m. Fox, the big Fox, FC Cincinnati versus Inter Miami CF. As I said, Sunday, May 16th. So, boys, of those three, let's say that let's look at the first two games, then we'll talk about West End Stadium. So, we'll go around the horn here. Ken, Clay, Bill, of those first two games, which one are you circling? Which one are you most excited for?
Nashville?
It's not a hard decision.
No.
All I want is to beat their ass. Sorry.
Beep.
Seriously, they're the most annoying fan base to us, and we're annoying to them. And somehow we've turned this non-regional rivalry, whatever. I guess we're a regional, but non-rivalry thing into a rival. It's just so weird how this whole thing kind of just came about to me.
Greater Appalachia, pal. Come on.
Well,
look,
those roots run deep.
None of us, neither team has beat each other in USL. They got their MLS bid before we did, which in Cincinnati felt like a personal slight in a sense. Yeah. With all that being said, I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm saying NYCFC. It's the first game against a good opponent.
Yes.
That's right, Nashville. I said that. It's our first game against a good opponent. That'll be a good
barometer,
kind of test case for what these new players can do together against good competition.
Bill?
Yeah, I'm going to just say flat out, it is a rivalry. It has nothing to do with who's beaten who or not beaten who, because 50 years from now, that'll all be some weird number that has nothing to do with today. It just comes purely down to the way both these clubs were born into MLS. The fact that they basically came in with a silver spoon tucked underneath their tongue, and we worked our butts off trying to get into here. We had so much pushback from MLS on every little thing we did, and it just seemed like they just rolled out the red carpet for Nashville. And honestly, it wasn't just a slight; it was rude, and it pissed us off. And to be fair, we thought we were fighting for our life at that point because Sacramento looked like a shoe-in, and there was a lot of people that didn't think we'd make it past the first round. If we didn't get in the first round, there was no second. And I don't know that that's true or false, but that was the feeling in Cincinnati, was we had to be in that first round. And when Nashville just got that little pat on the back, and they barely had their plan even together, and they got in, and we had so much angst and such on our locations. Yeah, we were upset, and there was a lot of talk and such between us and Nashville, and I think it's grown into a nice love-hate type relationship at this point. And it's a rivalry. So let's beat them. Let's get down there. Let's bring some fans, and let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Nice love-hate. Think about that. Nice.
There's no love there.
Love-hate.
No, we love to hate them.
Yes.
Love and hate are not that far apart.
They're not that nice either.
No. No, think about it, right? When you circle games on the calendar, right, you don't circle the teams that you think are really awesome. You circle the ones you hate, right? So you love the games that you hate the other team.
Yeah.
So,
I just wish it was 5 weeks apart. That's all. 5 weeks into the season.
I agree. To have it start is a shame.
Well, look at this way: is they are not the most offensive capable team, and who knows, we might not be either at that point. But it could be interesting if we get our doors blown off 3-0. I'm absolutely scared for the rest of the season. But we lose 1-0. I God, if we lose these guys, I'll just throw my shoe through my TV. Hopefully not. But
it's at Nissan, right? So
it's at
Nissan.
Nissan.
It's a huge stadium. even if it's not full capacity.
It's never full capacity.
Right. Exactly. My point is
I'm going to get torn apart
full,
for bringing up capacities.
but even if they can't do full capacity, right, they'll have some percentage of that. And that means they should allow a good number of our fans to go down there, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, traveling fans is tough.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a bow on these first 2 games here with this question, and then we'll jump to the opener and then final thoughts. Do you want to win that Nashville game more or less than the first more than the first Hell is Real Derby in the US Open Cup? More or less, Bill, go first.
Oh, Columbus every time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got to beat Columbus.
Yeah. Nashville is a Twitter rivalry. Columbus is the real deal. Hell is real.
Ken?
Well, you said that first US Open Cup, I would have taken Columbus over that one. That just put us on a pedestal. That set us up for everything that's occurred. So yes,
is it in the conversation?
It's on the fringes, maybe. It's very roughly in the conversation. As far as regular season now, take where we're at in the position of the world. That or Hell is Real. Right now, that's a conversation technically in my book. I mean, people sit there and go, "Is it Columbus or Nashville?" I can make an argument for either one.
If we lose to Nashville, they will be worse. Or they're 15. They're 15 fans,
and they will.
Worse.
And every
jerk, their 15 fans will just crow at us for months, and I do not want that. All right, I love you, Clay. Let's talk about the home opener, May 16th versus Inter Miami CF. God, I want to say FC. So is this the home opener that you did? You guys want Seattle? Did you want another big team, or you want a game like this where you can, it's a bottom barrel team in the East that we can go after and should have a decent chance? Ken?
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. They're Cheaters FC or CF or whatever they are.
Blase Matuidi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Honestly, it didn't matter who it was. It was there. It's the presentation of the stadium to the public that's going to make it a big deal automatically. So therefore, it's going to have high energy with however many fans we can have. So I think it didn't matter. In fact, I prefer it of someone of lesser quality. So Miami was just fine to have that opening because all the other ones are going to get that energy in and of itself.
Clay, would you rather see the New England Revs, who are going to be towards the top of the East, or Inter Miami?
Yeah, I wanted a more established competitor in the league. I remember going into the MLS opener at Nippert being like, oh no, Timbers are pretty good. They might spoil our party. And then they showed up and FC Cincinnati won that game. And that felt really good. Now, that may not happen this year, but I love the opportunity. I feel like you blow your home opener against Inter. I can't believe they're still allowed to say Inter. Inter Miami, Beckham's Miami. It's like a double negative. If you lose to New England, you lose to an LAFC. He's like, well, yeah, they're top of the leagues, though. It was a good fun day. I think losing that kind of game, your expectations aren't as high. And then if you pull it off, that home opener just becomes that much more special. I think a lot of us remember how great that afternoon was against Timbers. So I would love to replicate something like that.
You ready to bang on those drums, Bill?
I am 100%. But coming on to this conversation, I would say that I disagree with Clay on this one. I think, it's great to have a big name that's exciting if we can beat them. I think we're gonna struggle a little bit out of the gate with this team, just like we have every season, even seasons that have been good seasons. We just did not get going, especially with so many new players and key players on this team. It's going to take a little bit. So I'm really happy to have a little bit lower level team to go up against. I think also if I put my hat on and be Jeff Smith for just a little bit, this game's going to sell itself, right? I mean, we're gonna have a great crowd. The crowd is going to be amped up. They're going to be excited because they haven't had soccer in like a year and a half that they could go to. So even if the crowd is 30%, it's going to sound like 100% because I think people are just going to be crazy. And then when Columbus comes, or you get Union or somebody like that who's a really big team, then you're going to draw crowds just because of that. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I hope we can get a W on our first home game. We'll be on Fox Sports, so I certainly don't want
The big Fox.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
not
I don't
FS1. Real
Yep,
Fox.
the big Fox.
Yep, I don't want it looking bad. I want this to be,
Mhm.
Here is Cincinnati, and you guys all think you know who we are, and you don't. So
I wish we were able to have more fans in, because you could have just said, "Hey, it's Beckham's team, and the casuals and all that stuff would get amped for it." So thought that would be cool. But yeah, I think it's a good setup for us, and hopefully we can take advantage of this game. Plus, you got Gonzalo Higuain right out in the field, and that's pretty special. So, Bill, we're going to touch on a couple topics for the stadium again. You got to go inside this past week and drum your heart out there. Tell us about it.
Yeah. The club was trying to get some video footage for some stuff they're doing, and they wanted a drummer, so they asked me to bring my drum in, and there was some other people there, and we all took part in some various things to help the club. But for me, the exciting part was I got to bring my drum, and it was a blast. I've been looking forward to this day for quite a while. Also, I just wanted to kind of get a feel for what the stadium felt like, and at some point, they're like, hoist up the drum, beat out some rhythms for a while, and the camera's going, and I'm just trying not to look like an idiot because I haven't really touched my drum in like months and months and months. So I did my little thing, and he's like, okay, that's good. And I looked up at all the other people that were standing there, and their eyes were like this big, and I was like, was that good? And they were like, it was so loud. So
That's just a snare.
Yeah, it was just me. I was the only one in the stadium, and they're like, every single construction worker just stopped. Like the entire stadium just stopped and stared at me. Apparently, it was good that I wasn't focused on that, because I for sure would have done something dumb, like dropped a stick. But yeah, apparently it was extremely loud. You could hear it like anywhere in the stadium, like just bullets going off. I think the metal Bailey, right? They did it all in aluminum with the concept of let's reflect sound. Apparently that works. We got the roof above us trying to keep some of that sound in. It just had a nice echo to it when you finished hitting that last, bam. It's so yeah, it was a lot of fun. I could have probably stayed there for an hour and just beat the drum for a while.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was great. But just from a stadium standpoint as well, right? Because not everybody's going to play drums or wants to play drums in the stadium. It's looking really good, guys. I mean, the grass is green. They've got their grow lamps out there, and they're doing a nice job, getting that pitch up and going. The seats are in, the roof is in. I mean, when you're sitting there in that stadium right now, it feels like they could literally play a soccer game tomorrow. It feels that together. I mean, if you look up, there's some joints, in the ceiling or in the roof that they need to seal with some, I think, to allow like heat for, I'm coming up with the right words. Expansion joints. Thank you. So they got some stuff like that they got to do, but those are like small details. You really could feel like they could play today. I mean, they've got obviously to have the broadcast working. They got to have bathrooms, so they can't have people in there. But you step out on the concourse, and it's a different scene. There's a lot of people running around. There's a lot of dust, and there's a lot of work happening. So there's stuff to do. But I've been told the dressing rooms are basically done. The clubs are very close. So I think
LED lights.
Yeah, obviously we've been seeing tons of pictures of the lights, which is kind of cool. You could actually see them playing with them while we were walking around on the outside. The grand concourse coming, or I don't know what you call it, the grand staircase. And then there's like a big level right in front of the stadium there where people can kind of mingle. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's basically ready. They haven't got the gates in yet, but you can really picture the march coming in, ascending that staircase. It's just in mass and ending up on that big open area, just clustering there and just having a nice fun moment, kind of our Sermon on the Mound, 90 minutes plus and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's going to be exciting, and the stadium just looks great.
Wonderful. Well, guys, you said keep checking out at Cincy Soccer Talk for any more photos of the stadium that we can get our hands on or we take and get in there. Just a little bit of something breaking or something to look forward to. If you're in the West End Stadium or West End area OTR Thursday, keep your eye out for those LED fins. You might be surprised with a little show. Of course, things change, but I was told that there should be some pretty cool stuff happening in later this week around that stadium. So, all right, guys, a couple other bits of business here. Check out all your favorite SGs. Looks like a lot of scarves are getting released this week. The Pride released their package today. Beautiful stuff. I love that T-shirt that they put out there. It gave me like a Thundercats kind of vibe. I loved it. King's Hammer also with some news for the USL League 2 side. Come out with a new logo today. A lot of things happening there. A lot of news that'll probably be coming fast and furious with those guys. Go check us out. Ryan Sparks, I believe, is going to be covering a lot of their stuff for us. So go check him out. Go check out CST, and we'll have more bits and pieces for that. All right, guys, it's a great show. Glad to have you guys on. I can't wait till we actually have the actual signing to talk about once with all these different players. Maybe FC Cincinnati will give us like 4 in a week and kill our shows. But guys, let's dive down into our final thoughts. I'm going to start with Clay Winstead. Clay, glad to have you back, sir.
Thank you. It's really always good to be back here. In 2021, I'm trying to highlight things that bring me some joy, moments on the field, more on the pitch, I should say, that are really exciting, make me happy to be talking about soccer on a podcast like this, which is really great. But since the season has not started yet, something that did bring me joy last week, my sister is a pharmacy student, and she has been administering vaccinations since January. And she kind of roped me in to volunteer at the clinic. I was basically a Walmart greeter. I was just introducing people in line and showing them to their check-in station. Very minimal stuff. They didn't let me anywhere near any kind of real responsibility. But seeing the droves of people show up, the smiles you can see in the corners of their eyes underneath their mask, to be vaccinated, to show up, the joy they got in the waiting area afterwards. It for the first time, I think, since March 2020, I saw the end of the tunnel, and I started, and the sunlight coming through at the end was really exciting. And it was just a really good moment to sort of think of what we've gone through and where we're going to. It's just really exciting and a moment of fulfillment and joy. It was really great. So if you can get a vaccination, please get it so we can have as many people in that beautiful stadium as possible.
What a difference a year makes. I'll tell you what, I remember this point last year, just not knowing what's going on. Glad to have you back, buddy. Sorry to bust your chops a minute ago, but you're great. You're my triplet. Love having you around here. Let's go to Ken Hetker. Ken, love seeing your stats. Guys, please check him out on his social media. He's got some great packages coming, and I really think it's going to shape a lot of our post-game coverage this year.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually one of my points, but also to go to Clay's, I am getting my vaccine this week. I'm excited. I am 50, so I'm not jumping anybody's in the line. I can't wait for everybody to be able to be in a stadium or somewhere, honestly. So yes, I want to reiterate, get vaccinated if you can. But also to go to Brian's point, I am a stats guru. I love it. I've been working on it for 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month. And I've been updating these guys with nerdy little things that I've been doing that they really probably don't understand, but I just had to vet it out of making how to get the data easier for me. Anyways, long story short, it's a personal goal for me here on CST to try and provide fans of Cincinnati soccer and all of MLS soccer a way to look up statistics in a way in which maybe it makes it simpler or more visually appealing to see a difference of players. And please provide feedback. It's a beta that I have out there. I'm just testing it. But if you go to Cincinnati Soccer Talk and click on, there's a link at the top that says data analytics. You can play around with it. It's not perfect, but please go explore, have fun. Not that anybody has fun with data. I do. But if other people want to provide feedback, please write back to Cincinnati Soccer Talk and give me some feedback on maybe some charts that you'd like to see. If it's possible, I'll try and do it. This data will be updated come the 2021 season on a weekly basis. So it won't be on a game by game basis, but it'll be every week that I will do it. Just wanted to let everybody out there know that that's available. Click on our site, Cincinnati Soccer Talk, data analytics at the top. It'll take you to the 2020 stats for MLS. Let me know what you think. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Thanks for supporting us.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for supporting us and helping us to put us in a position to be able to do a lot of these things. So thank you all so much. And Bill Wolf.
You can do better than that.
Clay's better than that.
My voice is shot. Come on.
No, it's all good. We don't need that. Anyway, I'm going to echo a little bit of the same messages from Clay, and then obviously Ken began there as well, which is coming back around to this pandemic. I mean, we just talked about me being in the stadium, just recently, last week, I guess would be the proper term. It is so gorgeous, guys. I mean, I could literally shut my eyes and I could picture 26,000 people in that stadium. That's not going to happen if we don't just stick to this. I mean, we're making such great progress. Numbers are coming down. Ohio has set a bar. We know what we need to do. We need to keep wearing our masks. We need to go get our vaccines when we're eligible. And if we keep doing this, then, that reality is a possibility. And right now, in my mind, I keep playing it back, and remembering that, Governor DeWine has said, at the rate we're going right now, and everybody's doing their job, everybody's chipping in and doing their part, 7 to 8 weeks, he thinks we're at the point where, everybody is essentially have been eligible for vaccines. The numbers are way down. He's talking about opening things back up. So if you want to, see that happen, then we need to get those numbers down. We need to get vaccines in arms, and we need to get to the point where people start to feel safe going out again. I want a full stadium, guys. So, do me a favor.
Awesome.
Get your shot.
I say we always forget this is audio too. Love it, Bill. Great job, man. And glad to have you back here and part of CST for golly, another season. Can you believe it, pal?
I know. It's been this is number 6.
Number 6. So it's amazing. Guys, my life changed 6 years ago. Probably when you hear this on Tuesday the 16th, my life changed for the better with my son Brian being born, and his birthday's tomorrow. So shout out to Big Bri. I always say that I did this to provide to provide a way for my kids to be able to watch soccer, and their kids, my grandkids, to watch soccer, and to see FC Cincinnati, to get to Major League Soccer and to do all these great things, just makes my heart full. And it's not always about us. So I love that. Gerard, give us Acosta for his birthday, baby. My son's been wearing his jersey around the house. He's been doing practice, kicking butt, scoring goals. Give us Acosta for his birthday. So very excited for that day. And I'm sure we'll have cake and pizza and all that stuff for his birthday. So actually got to have a little bit of a birthday for him this year. We had to cancel his birthday last minute last year due to COVID. So we were able to play with some friends outside this weekend. So great time there. So guys, thanks for joining us this week. Another great show of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Please give us your feedback at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Rate and review us on Apple and iTunes. Share our stuff. Please help us get out there. A bunch of staff members are going to be doing a lot of shows around the community of Major League Soccer, previewing the season. Please, please, please listen to those shows. Give feedback to those great content creators. That's half the battle out here. To get Major League Soccer to another level, we need to get as many homes as possible with views and stuff. So please go check those people out. You'll see a lot of our stuff on our social media. So thanks for joining us, guys. For Ken, Clay, the man, myth, the legend, Bill Wolf, this is Brian Weigel. I don't watch your tackles, but have a good one.